What's up, guys? So, what to say about the Dragon GTS? That right here. So, I think it's been a pretty good scooter. It's done so far, if you can see that, which you probably can't. Let me bring that into the shade a little bit. There is no shade anywhere, is there? There we go. 2,477. So, getting pretty close to 2,500 Ks. And it's been a pretty solid scooter. There's been a few things that have been a little bit dodgy, but it's been pretty damn solid. So I think, well, what do you think of it so far, now? She's been the main user of it.
It's been a great scooter.
Any complaints?
The only thing for me is bumps.
Yeah, so it brings me to suspension. It's not too bad, but the wheel definitely just does that more than that, because as soon as it hits a bump, it's got so much movement back and forth. You can even see that just there. It goes sort of, when it hits the bump, it goes backwards and up a little bit, which isn't too bad, but you definitely feel it. And the rear suspension, although you can see suspension here, it doesn't actually really function like. So you can see it moves, but not much. And then if I go on the front, it definitely works, but it's still kind of not quite amazing. As far as price, $1,000. That's pretty amazing. And distance, what do you think?
It gets roughly, I would say, about 30 kilometers on a good trail.
Yeah, so about 30
Maybe
Ks.
35.
And usually a good trail being like probably something similar to this, but yeah, not so many big rocks.
A rail trail that's fully concreted.
Oh, you reckon concreted?
Yes. That's the furthest distance you'll get. And there's no hills. If it's flat.
Yeah, and she's
probably
like,
get to 35.
and the average rider, being me or Nay, is about 65. So I think, what do they claim distance?
I can't remember.
I think they claim around 35 or so. So
35 to 40, I think.
it's pretty good with that. And that's like not much headwind or anything. But yeah, so suspension's pretty average. It folds down really nicely. Like this comes down. I'm gonna try and do this with one hand. This, and then the whole thing folds. There. Obviously the neck comes in, if you like. This is going to be really hard to bag. We often use it to carry bags and stuff. And then also the actual handlebars fold in as well, so it can get very slim if you're trying to fit in a certain area, which has been fantastic for us because we're keeping it in the caravan. And then it just pops up. Just push that down, pop it straight back up. It's got a light, front light. It's not too bad of a light actually. It spreads the light pretty good distance. It's a bit more narrow than it is wide though, isn't it? The light, it's more of like a point.
It's more of a point.
Yeah, so it's not too bad if you're going quick, but if there's like lots of rabbits and stuff around.
See what's in front of you.
Yeah. Brakes, they do seem to loosen themselves over time in the actual caliper on the other side, the side that doesn't move. But that's pretty easy to tighten, especially on the front, because you can just go straight through the wheel. This is very solid. That can definitely hold a person, like 100% standing on it. It's been very solid, very good. Mud guards.
Another thing,
Yep, go.
when you ride it, you'll hear it when I first let go of going. You'll hear it go, ooh.
Sorry?
I don't know if you can hear it. It
Probably
sounds
not
like a
for
whale.
this stuff. Yeah, it has a bit of a ooh, but I think, that's sometimes, I think it's a harmonic vibration, I believe it was called. But it happens with some electric motors, and it happens with this one. And actually, when we first got it, there's like a metal plate. Huh?
There's a hill.
Oh, yep, that'll probably do it. That's not too bad. It used to be really bad when we first got it. There's a the bash plate on the bottom. Actually, lay it down. This is a good time to talk about this. All right. So the bash plate on the bottom, it's metal, and these screws, they should have definitely used these kind of screws, but they didn't. They used these. So if you go down a gutter, it'll whack and it's smashed off the bottom too. This one's pretty in there. So that's definitely a concern. And as I was saying before, oh yeah, right. And this being metal on aluminium, when we first got it, it's just metal on aluminium, like straight against it. And when it did that, like, as the motor, you could sort of hear, it used to vibrate. So it used to go until you get over that certain speed. So that was pretty bad. Like people would be like, and looking at everything, but put a bit of tape in between it and it solved that pretty well. And as I was saying before, mud guards. These little fellas here, fantastic, tick of approval. She has gone through some massive puddles and it's just like sprays outwards. Definitely gets anyone nearby, but the rider, have you ever gotten wet feet or anything?
Never.
No, it really shoots it away. The whole deck stays dry and the yeah, they're really good. Sometimes if you lean it against something and it's just like stored that way, kind of like that, it'll push this into this though. And if you leave it like that for a while and you spin the wheel, it'll be like zzz, a little bit, which is a little frustrating, but it depends if you store it weirdly. What else? Anything else you can think of?
Can't think of anything else really.
But all in all, $1,000 for a scooter like this. Power, I think we should probably talk power. 500 watts, peak of 800 I believe is the specs that it says. It's pretty good as far as getting up stuff. Definitely better than your typical like legal 250 watt scooter. But if it's something that's real steep, like any of these hills, you probably can't tell, it'd be absolutely fine with, because wide angle's not great. But steep, it still needs a bit more juice. Obviously you can kick as well. That's another thing. You can kick to start, or you can change the throttles, change the settings so you can just straight out throttle. And it's also got cruise control, and it's got a few options that you can pick from. You can de-restrict it or restrict it, all through the actual menu thing. And yeah, it's pretty good. I feel like there's something else we need to talk about. Can't think of it. Oh yeah, okay. One more thing. I think this is probably the last thing. If you do lay it on its side, which probably a lot of people might when it's all packed up, and it's charging, it will crack the charger actual thing off. Because they just use this is the one that I put in, because the other one cracked off and we're like in the middle of nowhere and I had this spare. So the stock one, it's like a plastic 3-pronged sort of thing. Really crappy plastic. If you plug it in and then tip it on its side, because it sticks out really far, it will just straight out crack it off and then you'll be kind of stuck not charging. Also, they don't use a diode in here, so if you plan on doing anything near water, make sure that is closed, because it has not got one-way electricity. So yeah, definitely make sure that's closed. But yeah, ridden it through loads of water and it's been absolutely solid. Check this out. Oh, just a little stuck. Oh. Come on, you can turn. There we go. Kind of. The front was a bit better. A little bit like, look at that gap. So, yeah, I'd say Dragon GTS, tick of approval for sure. For $1,000, it's a steal. And yeah, any questions? We'll try to answer it. Leave it in the comments below. And yeah, catch you later. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that jazz.